Evening, everyone! So I just finished reading Virgin River by Robyn Carr, and I have to say this was a good and it's not a good book and it's not a bad book. It's an okay book. Yeah, I know it's weird, but when I first began reading this, I was like, this is a really great book. I love this book. I love reading this book, but Robyn's typing and like the way she words her story, I didn't really like it, and I didn't like her huge skipping of time frames. It didn't feel right the way she did her time skip. Now those were my two main things that I didn't really like. Well, actually, there's kind of three things, but it's two things, really. Mainly two things. So I didn't like the way you're typing, or it's actually phrasing. That's what I didn't like. I was not a huge fan, of the way she typed it, because it just seemed like the phrasing didn't feel right in this book. And this is the first book in the Virgin River series. But it was still good. I finished it. I do really like this. But again, I did not like the phrasing. Yeah, as I said, the other thing was the time skips. It just didn't, for me, it didn't feel like it flowed right. And those two kind of really tied into each other. The phrasing and the time skips. It just didn't feel right. And this thing spans through the month, 3 months. The passage of 3 months. And that's good for the purpose of building a relationship, which is what I like. I like a good amount of building a relationship. But the flow didn't feel right. That's all. The other thing that I didn't like was when I read books like this, I want it to be just in the point of view, or a major the main point of view in the heroine and the hero's point of views, or a major overview where you get everyone's type of third person point of view 24/7. But in here, the majority is Melinda and Jack. Those are our hero and heroine of the story. But sometimes we occasionally get this character, Ricky, and I did not like that. It was a little annoying. I don't feel like it needed that. But I feel like that whole Ricky situation that's going on in the book, I feel like it could be part of a novella, a really short story that could be happening. But some of the times when it's in his point of view and he goes to talk to Jack, I feel like that could easily mainly just be in Jack's point of view, and just have Ricky's talking parts and the way his physical emotions are happening. I didn't really need to have be in Ricky's head and feel hear his feelings talk and stuff like that. I didn't really need that. And then there was it's a one thing, but I didn't really need it, and it was something to do with the old, or really old doctor of Virgin River town. It was just a one-time thing, and I didn't really need it. That I can brush off a little easier than I can with the Ricky parts, only because it's a one thing. It was a really short little paragraph thing. The Ricky thing, I didn't like that. But overall, I did like the story. I love for a while now, I love small towns. Ever since I started reading the Aunt Divinity series, I have loved small town communities that like are in within this series. Like I love that so much, like insanely so much. So that's why I liked this. Main reason why I really liked, Virgin River. The other thing is it's set in like a California forest. Like it's in California, as far as I can tell. Like within the California state, because they talk about she came down from LA and they go up to Sacramento, and I know I know those are within the California state. So I really love, like, I love wooden porches, like with the TV show Decked Out on HGTV, and like you do the wooden deck. Well, if the top of the deck is kind of like a plastic wood that doesn't get damaged as fast as like actual wood. And Adirondack chairs, like those are freaking amazing. I love those chairs. It's pretty amazing. And like fall colors, like I love fall leaves, and I love it when they're like covering the ground and all that stuff. It's just so beautiful. I didn't get a lot of that scenery description that I do sometimes with other books and other stuff that I watch, but I still got that feeling. I still got that like small town living within like a forest or like a small kind of wood. It didn't make me feel as cozy because of like the 3 negative points I described earlier, but I get that. I love that feeling. I love it so much. It just makes me feel good, which is why the best way I can describe it is so with my whole fall stuff, small town stuff, which is why I'm putting it into my my one of these original novel series I'm writing, and I just make me feel so good. And the best way I can describe this feeling and like this look that I'm giving the town is Gilmore Girls, and like where they live, like the town they live in. Not so much the people aspect, well, sort of, but like not those specific type of people, but those like people you come to in a small town, and like even like this only has 600 people, whereas where the Gilmore Girls lived, it probably was a bit bigger, maybe, I don't know, but maybe a bit bigger than this, but roughly the same size. It just, people know you, they know what's going on with you, and like all that stuff. But like I like the way it looks, and the way that just the way everything looks and feels, and it makes me feel so cozy. You're probably wondering, like, why are you not living in like a small town like that? Part of me kind of is like, yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't I get Manny and we go live in a small town like that, and just feels amazing because I love it so much. But the fact is, I'm a person of comfort. I love living in Hamilton. I've been living here since I was born. Like the town city? Yeah, you can call it a city. I've lived here since I was born. I know the bus system works. I'm extremely familiar with the library system. I know where to go to a lot of stuff within the city I live in, and it's just, I've gotten comfortable here, and I can't see myself moving out of it, except for maybe like the city that is like basically next door to where I live, because like I lived there because my dad moved us down there, so like, but it's basically a carbon copy, like not a carbon exact copy, but it's very similar. And the bus system actually goes to that city, so it's I live in an area which encompasses other cities, and within those cities, like they have different names. So like the Toronto area has, you know, Toronto. It has Ajax, and like it has like a few cities within that area. So they basically would have like the same area code. I probably will never move out to a small town like that, but I would not mind. I would probably love actually going to visit and maybe take a small vacation to like a small town. Like be like, oh, I love this so much, and like just try it out. I haven't talked to this with Manny, but yeah, it's just kind of what I love to do, and why I really like this book. And because I only like it, and I'm not going to be purchasing like the series. Like this is a large series. So like here's the list of the titles of the Virgin River book series. There's a lot of them. I think on the website it said at least 20, or at least there's at least under 20 books in this series. The reason why I'm not going to be purchasing the series, because like when I first started the book, I was like, I am totally going to buy this series because I love it so much. But after reading it some more, I was like, I don't like her phrasing, so I don't think I'm actually going to be purchasing this series, because I have to love it completely. I have to love it for me to want to purchase it or like keep it. I will be keeping this just so like when I read it, it's like, oh yeah, I actually really like the series. So it keeps me like, you know, borrowing it from the library so I can read it. Yeah, it's pretty like this. I apologize for like the wear of my book. I've never had my book do this, but for some reason, when it was in my bag, my bag was doing bad stuff to it inside. I don't know why, but I was very happy with this book, and I recommend you read it if you love or like any of the stuff that I said about this book, and like if you love that type of stuff. Like it just you know, it's a feel-good type of thing. If you like that stuff, totally get it. And like if you're not ready to purchase it yourself, totally go to your library system and go find like if they have like a library website and like a search catalog, totally go do it yourself and get it, order it. And like if you need the help of the librarian to find it, because you don't have a library system, like an online catalog and stuff like that, then like if it's not online, then you probably would need more help. So do that. I am keeping that, but not purchasing the rest of the books, unless I actually really, really love a book. But really, I'm just gonna be keeping this book and borrowing it from the library. All right. So that's it, and I started reading this book because I was nearly finished this book. And the thing about these chapters are really long, and that's a little annoying, but not as annoying as the other things that I told you. So, this is the next book. Sorry. I have my television on, but it's on mute, and right now, the lake house is playing, so I keep looking up at it. But anyway, I started this book because I was nearly finished this one. I already can tell I'm not going to be keeping this book, but I will still give you a review of it. It, as you probably might be able to see, it is a Harlequin romance book. So, like, most of the time I don't always keep those books, but I think I have maybe 3 of them. And I already can tell I'm not keeping this one. But anyway. This book is called The First Family of Texas by K.N. Casper. And I read a little thing right here that says there's a series of it. The Man and His Family. Adam First and his family have been running the #1 ranch in West Texas for generations. But now his daughter, driven by spite and revenge, has sold controlling interest to the local bank. The women with their fate in her hands. Sheila Malone, a consultant for the bank, has to determine if Adam is managing the ranch properly and whether he should continue to oversee its operation. The choices they have to make. Adam can stay on, but only if he agrees to Sheila's recommendations. That's asking a lot. Adam is as inflexible as Sheila is strong-willed. And the heat between them isn't just from their disagreements about the destiny of the ranch. Dear reader, if you're a Texan or you've ever been to Texas, you know it's big. Really big. Well, that's actually not true. You can fit Texas inside Alaska. Alaska's bigger. And it's part of America, so. There are ranches that cover several counties, a few that even rival small countries in size. So I started wondering, what if? What if a man owned a ranch that had been in the family for more than 170 years and spread so big it had several villages on it? What if he lost control of it, not through fraud or his own incompetence, but because a person he loved wanted to get even with him for some real or imaginated wrong? What if a beautiful woman was given the job of passing judgment on whether or not he should be allowed to continue managing his empire? Well, that's what this story is all about. The first family doesn't really exist. There is no number one ranch. And 512,000 acres isn't the biggest ranch in Texas. But it'll do. I sure wouldn't want to be responsible for the yard work. I hope you enjoy meeting the members of the first family. Each of them has a story to tell. So stand by for more to come. I'm not going to read that. And so this is what I've started. I'm trying to get this finished almost as fast as possible because I'm not going to be keeping it. But I've already started it. And it goes all the way to the end. There's no, previews of stuff. But there is, for some reason, 3 blank pages at the back. And I'm on chapter 4 already. There's about 18 chapters, including the prologue and epilogue, so yes. That was just weird. Anyway, this is my next book. And that's my reading. Alright, so if you liked any of the stuff that I talked about this book, because this is the best stuff. And if you like seeing me, and if you like watching videos by me, and then subscribe to see more book reviews, more hauls, more unboxing, more unbagging. And I think I have one more, but I can't remember what it is. But that's just the ones that I can't think of. So I gotta go do some stuff. I gotta find 2 recipes for my cousins. And relax. Yeah, relaxing time. Alright, good night everyone.